The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. It is Thursday, February 16th. I am Fat Nash. We are back in the saddle again. I am joined, as always, by our good friend Fat Hall.
Hey, yo.
I'm also joined by Terramana Tequila, the official tequila of Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Now, can you
How's
do
that
me a
working out?
favor? Yeah,
Yes.
can you do me a favor?
What's up,
Can
Tomato
you
Joe?
describe it? Can you describe the experience of drinking the Terramana tequila the way you did before we were on the air?
If you're a tequila drinker, you'll like it. If not, it'll be like drinking unleaded gas.
Now, why do I feel like that's a really good analogy for The Rock's movie career?
Because you'll either like it or it'll be like, yes. 100% Blue Weber Highlands agave.
He ain't lying.
Brick oven roasted in a copper pot. It was stilled. 96 calories per 1.5 ounce. Zero
How many
carbohydrates.
calories are you drinking tonight?
A lot. Zero carbohydrates, zero sugar. And it is, for the ladies and gentlemen at home, it is gluten-free. This is the Blanco tequila.
All right, gluten-free.
I love that.
Gluten-free.
So quick debate, quick Rock debate here. Bigger L, Black Adam, or no longer being in the Fast and Furious franchise?
It's always Black Adam.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like that was supposed to be like a really huge thing, right?
It was supposed to be the reason why he wasn't in the Fast and the Furious anymore, is because he was going to be in all those movies. But, you know, how'd that turn out for you, Dwayne?
Spadudios.
So, yeah, what I'll say is if you want Dwayne, I'll RIP your fast career. Just keep making the tequila, bud. So we got a fun one. We got a fun one tonight. We'll be previewing the two big shows this weekend. Battle of the Elimination Chamber and, Elimination from San Jose or some bullshit. I don't know. We'll figure it out together. And then Joe has a fun topic. It is Mr. WrestleMania, basically not named Shawn Michaels or post Shawn Michaels. So that should be a fun one. I guess let's start. Land of the Rising Sun comes east, I guess, from where they're at.
Well, I mean, I guess technically you could fly west from Japan to California, though it'd be
Why?
super ridiculously long flight.
Hey, Joe, you want to fly west from Japan to...
I mean, when the
He hates flying. He's already dreading the 5-hour flight that we have from Fort Lauderdale to LA. Could you imagine him flying west?
I researched it. It's 3 days if I want to take a bus or a train, so it's just not going to happen that way. So flying is.
He was contemplating a 3-day journey.
I get it, Joe. I've never flown. I don't really want to fly.
You've never flown, like not once?
Nope, never once.
Okay, so here's my whole thing.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
Here's my whole thing, okay?
Goals.
It makes no sense. Like, how are we just up in the air like that? That's
Spinning
not
in
the
God's
way
face
it was
for X number of
intended.
hours? Yeah, I don't.
It's weird. It's like you don't exist, but you do, and then you're in a new place.
Wait, hold on. You literally just said spitting in God's face for hours.
Yeah.
Have you not listened? Have you not listened to a Tuesday episode of the Take 3, the 3CT show? That's spitting in God's face for an hour every day, every Tuesday.
I mean, you're not totally wrong.
So, I mean, you put a month of 3CT Tuesday episodes there. It's the same as flying to LA. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, but I'm probably never going to die doing an episode of 3CT.
Have you ever stopped and thought
you almost
about
did that
how
one
many
time.
planes? How many planes are over your head right now?
No, I've never really thought of that.
It's weird.
I just love the people that are like, planes go down all the time. 99.97% of flights don't.
Oh, I mean,
Crash.
planes don't crash all the time.
And people are like,
However, when you
nope,
you
nope.
do the math on the number of people who walk away from plane crashes, math starts to not add up well. So
okay, here's the deal. Okay, I've flown. I will fly. I say this every time I fly. If we're going to crash, hit something hard. I don't want to walk away.
oh, no doubt.
Hit that bitch hard. Like, let's be real. I don't want to walk away because I know if I do, my life will be severely different than what it was. Let's be real.
Oh, yeah, no, it's terrible. It would be terrible. But anyway, the
I
point
mean,
was
Ric Flair survived the plane crash.
Ric Flair was also probably on more drugs than we're fucking.
But like for real, Ric Flair won La Bamba 0. Okay, like Ric Flair survived the plane crash.
All right,
Tell me
fuck
where
you,
the
Ricky
big
Valens.
bopper's at. Yeah, yeah, I'm just saying. Ric
Did
Flair.
you really just say
undefeated in
fuck you,
plane
Ricky
crashes.
Valens right now? Like, what the fuck, man?
Ric Flair undefeated in plane
Don't be rude.
crashes. All I'm saying.
Well,
all right.
I'm just
Well,
glad I'm undefeated and not having to deal in plane crashes.
the point is, despite what people like, probably Austin Aries and fucking
Flat Earth.
fucking Flip Gordon and
Flat Earth.
ilk like that believe the Earth is round. So like technically you could fly
Wait.
west. Yeah,
Wait, Austin Theory is a flat earther?
Austin Aries.
Austin Aries.
Oh, Aries. Oh my God, you almost broke my heart. I was like, he's
Nope.
no longer
No,
attractive.
no, no, it is Austin Theory. You're right. You're
Ian
right.
started trembling, like, what the fuck?
Like
What's
for
going
real,
on?
I was like, yo, no, that's a real thing. Like I remember I went out on a date with a guy one time back in 2021 when I first moved here to Florida. And
Jim,
we went
do you
out
have
on
any
this
kind of
date.
alcoholic beverage? Feel free to grab it. We're going to be here for a
I'm
minute.
already drunk. It doesn't
No,
matter.
no, this is real fast. This is real fast and to the point. We went on this date and he was really nice and he was really cool. And then he told me that he didn't believe in vaccinations. And I was just kind of like, oh man, got to throw away the whole man. Like, and that kind of like, I just felt that about Austin Theory for a second there when I thought you guys, when
We should
I
have
thought
just
you
went
said
with
that.
it, Jim. We should have just went with
Austin
it.
Aries, no, like nobody likes him anyway. It's fine.
Fuck.
Horrible human being.
Can we get a redo?
Yeah,
It
there was our chance.
It was Austin Theory.
No,
Yeah.
no, I will
Rewind.
never believe
Rewind.
that ever again.
Rewind.
I will never believe that again. Fuck Austin
Um,
Aries.
Yeah, we fucked that
Like,
one
not
up.
really.
Alright.
Please don't hurt me.
So what we got to do, Mike, is we got to buy a cameo from
Mhm.
Austin Theory and just get him to say that he's a flat earther.
Anti-vaxxer or flat earther?
He's
Yeah.
not gonna do it. Okay,
You know
well,
what? No, I'm not going to take that away from Joe.
No, I
I'm
won't.
not going to take that away from Joe. I sent that photo in our group text on
Yep.
Monday,
Mhm.
and, and then I shared
I appreciated that.
Bianca and Mandy Rose for
Mhm.
the rest of the group. So yeah, no,
Respectfully.
Respectfully. You picked a good one. Austin Aries' abs were all like,
He
Nope,
posted
bam,
that.
bam.
nope,
No, we're not
nope.
going to talk about the app.
No, we're not going to talk about how Joe just called him Austin Aries. We're not going to do that.
No,
we're
I
not
said
going to do that.
That's
Theory.
what he just said. You said
I
Austin
meant Theory.
Aries.
I meant Theory. I'm very high right now.
You're high. Jim and me are going to get drunk real quick.
I'm
Let's do this
I'm
thing.
so high. This is an old one. I've used this line before, but I really enjoy using it. I'm so high,
That's what
I
he
forgot
said?
Matt Riddle's lines.
Wow.
Supposedly there's talks of him coming back soon. How do we feel about that?
I mean, if he's clean,
I don't know. He got a
That's cool.
grill, so I mean,
Yeah, no, that means he's doing more cocaine.
I was gonna say 2002 called. They want their fucking song back, but I mean, whatever.
yeah, no, Joe. I just saw the picture because he had tweeted it on Monday, and I was
Yeah.
like, you know what, Joe would appreciate this.
He's a fine-looking young man.
No, he's a good-looking guy. I'll give it to him.
Joe doesn't go to the Twitter sphere all that much.
Sorry, I'm looking out for you.
I do not attend Twitter that often.
All right. We got New Japan Battle in the Valley at the San Jose Civic in San Jose, California. This thing is a sellout. We did look that up on 3CT. It's right around the 3,000 ticket mark, 3,300 somewhere in there.
Before we
I
get
was gonna say-
to that, we're not giving that credit to Mercedes Moné, correct?
No, I think this would have sold out either way.
I was gonna say the minute that you announced that Okada
It's-
and Tanahashi were coming,
It's PWG territory. It's a New Japan show, which it's popular enough that like
was gonna
when
say,
they
you
come
mentioned-
into the US,
you mentioned
It's
that
3,000
Kyrie's coming.
people.
That's what I'm saying. You mentioned
Yeah,
Kyrie's
3,000
coming. You
is-
mentioned Okada. You mentioned Jay White. You mentioned Tanahashi. Like I
Eddie
think this would have.
Kingston.
This would have sold out a 6,000 seat venue without.
Yeah, I mean, if
Mercedes
you put
Moné.
it in the HP Pavilion or whatever the hell it's called now, where the Sharks play, and you're talking,
I don't know that they sell at the Pavilion.
Oh, but my point is, if you put it in there, and it sells out, 15,000, 16,000, whatever.
you might
then
say
you
that.
start to credit a lot of that to Mercedes. Yeah, I don't think Mercedes is the reason you're selling 3,000 tickets.
No,
Like, you could have not had a women's title in New Japan, and you're going to sell this show out. Like,
Yeah, 3,000
it's not
tickets is
discrediting Kyrie
impressive.
or Mercedes. It's just that's fact.
no, but I just know that there will be people that are like they sold out because she's on the show.
Yeah,
and I
which
want this to
is-
be
it's
very well known that there could have been a mop in the women's match, and
Wrong.
literally,
yeah.
they would have sold this show out.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So counting the
Like, do you really think that there's that many wrestlers today whose names actually sell out shows versus the brands themselves? Like, are you ever, WWE is in town. Oh, wait a second. Roman Reigns is on that card. Now I'm definitely buying tickets. Or are you like, WWE's in town, I'm going to buy tickets?
So I think it depends on the market. I think it depends how frequently they go there.
Okay.
But like I don't know that X or Y is the reason why a show might sell out. Like,
Right.
they may sell some more tickets. So up here, the last time, I guess it would have been right before last year's Mania, because Johnny Knoxville made an appearance, and I'm still kicking myself that I didn't go to the show. But SmackDown was in Hershey, for the first time, and it was the first time they had a TV show in years, probably over 5 years. So like the minute it was announced, they almost sold out, and then it was announced that Lesnar was going to be there, Rousey was going to be there, and then they ended up completing the sellout. So like the fact that we had a TV show here for the first time in a long time almost sold the building out. So like,
right.
when they found out Lesnar was going to be there and Rousey was going to be there, it moved more tickets, but like, so I guess like technically speaking, they were the reason it sold out. But like, I don't think like it's not. I think the company more sells itself now than it does.
Right.
New Japan bringing over any of the higher profiled Japanese based acts is going to sell that arena out, regardless if Mercedes added or you somehow work out a deal and Carl Anderson worked a show. Like, it wouldn't have mattered. Like, the fact that you're bringing over Kazuchika Okada, you're bringing over Hiroshi Tanahashi, I mean, you add Minoru Suzuki or Hiromu Tanahashi, and they probably would have filled a 8,000 seat venue by themselves without it.
Right.
I mean, here's the thing: like, it is what it is. Like, New Japan just sells, especially on the West Coast, especially with New Japan Strong, which is based out of LA. So I feel like it would have worked no matter what.
Yeah.
I will say, for me,
I'm not a Mercedes like hater. Like, I'm not that guy at this point, but it's just like, I personally don't know that I want people being like, it sold out because of her.
right. Well, I was gonna say, for me personally, I'd have to say, if I were, I don't know if they're streaming this live. I'm assuming on like Fight or something. They probably are.
Fight, not New Japan World.
Right. Yeah, I figure it's one you have to pay
Yeah.
for by itself.
See,
If I were to decide at this point to order the show, The draw for me would be more that Jay White Eddie Kingston match and seeing where that goes, and if that's Jay White's final New Japan appearance. That is more of a draw to me right now than just
I
seeing
mean, I would say that. I would
Mercedes.
say that in the title match, because you know that Okada and Tanahashi are going to have a great match. Like, I mean, I get it. It's the song and dance we saw for however many years, but you tell me we're getting that on a North American show. Like, the third most interested like match that I'm in is the women's match. And hell, I mean, it's probably either fourth or fifth. Because give me formerly known as Darren Young versus Kenta for the strong title. I think I'd be more excited about that match than the women's match at this point. And it's nothing against the women's talent. I think it's just that the way that this is going to end up being, and you know, now that we've kind of railroaded Jim's topic altogether.
Oh no, by all means, like
He said, "Run that train."
I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each match anyway, because New Japan's not really.
It's not in your
not
thing.
really my scene anyway. Because like I'll be 100% honest, like for me, if this wasn't the night of the Stadium Series game with the Capitals and the night of Elimination Chamber, the match that would get me to tune in is probably the women's match. And it's not because I'm a huge like Sasha mark or anything like that, but I'm curious to see what her first match outside WWE looks like.
Right.
I think she has the right dancing partner for it too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Excuse me, joking on a mint. By all accounts,
Joking on a man? What?
Mint.
No, he's not earnest. He's not earnest.
Oh boy. Poor guy. By all accounts, the match should be really, really good. It should be really, really good. If they give it time, let it breathe, all of that. But like, yeah, the Japan style like isn't really for me. I watched one Wrestle Kingdom. I will watch matches here and there, like if they are definitely like hyped and like they deserve to be watched. But like I don't seek out. Did
you watch Omega versus Ospreay from this year's Wrestle Kingdom?
No, I that's the one I do need to go back.
I was going to say, if there's a match from this Wrestle Kingdom that, you know, especially with the match of the year and the voting that we do on this show and that you do on 3CT, it's like, I feel like even if you watch that match and at the end of it, you go, okay, it was a good match. It wasn't a great match. Like that's one that you just got to watch just to see kind of, you know, does it reach?
I haven't seen it either.
No, and I mean, obviously, I don't think that there are a lot of people that, you know, outside of New Japan fans or people that watch a lot of the big shows.
How long is that match?
I'll double check real quick while you guys talk about something else.
Yeah, so
I'm just saying, maybe since two of us haven't seen it, maybe that could be a watch along in some episode if it's not like an hour-long match, you know?
I want to say it's like 35 minutes, but I could be wrong. Let me look.
That's long. That's a long time. All right, maybe we watch it separately and then just come in and talk about it together.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it might be something where we watch that and that's just the show.
Could be. I'm not going to go through every match and preview every match on the card. I will hit the. We should hit the title.
Is Darren Young on the show?
Yeah, he takes on Kenta.
Yeah, he's defending the Fred Rosser defending the strong openweight championship against Kenta. So maybe that's what we'll do. We'll predict
for the record, the Kenny Omega Will Ospreay match is 34 minutes and 38 seconds.
That's not horrible.
And the main event was Okada versus Jay White. It went 33:03.
Okay. And we could probably do those though. Or the Ospreay one.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, Rosser defending the strong openweight championship against Kenta. Mike, what do you got?
I think Kenta wins the title. I think Fred's done a great job as the strong champion, but I they're not really doing much with Kenta over in Japan, so I feel like this is a good spot for him to be in. I think Fred's been the champion for I think almost the entire time that they've had the title.
Really?
I believe so.
Tom Lawler won the title in April of 2021. Fred won it in May of 2022. He's been the champion for 278 days. Lawler held it
Wow.
for 387. So he's the second champion. He beat Tom Lawler at Strong 96, Collision 2022 at the 2300 Arena. He's then defended the title against Fred Yehai, Big Damo, TJP, a double countout versus Chris Dickinson, Jonathan Gresham, JR Kratos, and now he beat Pretty Peter Avalon leading up to this match against Kenta.
Interesting.
I feel like Lawler's title run feels more like he beat Brody King to win the title, beat Chris Dickinson, beat Carl Fredericks, beat Kojima, beat Leo Rush, beat Ren Narita, defeated Fred Rosser via ref decision, defeated Taylor Rust, defeated Clark Connors, Yuji Nagata before losing it to Fred Rosser.
So, with having no knowledge about anything going on in this match, I'm gonna pick Mr. No Days Off, Darren Young. I think that his title run deserves to still keep going from everything you were just saying, and also too, I think Kenta winning is based entirely around whether or not he's gonna stick around in the States. So,
did you know? And not to go off topic here, March 30th. From the Globe Theater in beautiful Los Angeles, California on Fight TV, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling present The Multiverse United, Only the Strong Survive.
yeah,
Currently
I
announced
did know this.
on this show, Jeff Cobb versus Moose,
Yep.
Speedball Mike Bailey versus Will Ospreay.
And there's a 6-man tag, right, with the machine gun.
I see Kushida versus Josh Alexander.
No, so I had sent it out in the group chat at some point because I'm pretty sure they had announced maybe they've changed it, but at least at some point it was supposed to be what do they call it when it's the machine guns and Kushida together?
The Motor City Time Splitters or whatever
Yeah, whatever it is. It was supposed to be them versus some contingent of Bullet Club. That's like
is that
mostly
not on
US. Like I think like Ace Anders was in it or whatever the fuck his name is.
Ace Austin?
I think I just named the lead singer of fucking early November.
So, yeah, something like that.
I'll double check, but cagematch.com has, or cagematch.net has Kushida versus Alexander, Bailey versus Ospreay, and Cobb versus Moose.
Interesting. Maybe it's another show that weekend or something. I don't know. I swear to God, I saw that announced though.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's another show. There's only 700.
Yeah, there's a ton.
And
There's a ton.
somehow no pro wrestling gorilla show, which really actually upsets me because I thought
I
was
truly feel like that's a
show.
I feel like that's a Tony Khan call. Because Excalibur and the just telling them, nope, don't be involved in it. Nope, don't do it.
Could be. I don't know. I'm disappointed just because I really want to go to a PWG show.
Oh, I mean, I'm obviously upset about it as well. I'm just saying I truly think that may have been a don't do it.
Yeah, possibly.
Joe, did you predict? Did you give a prediction?
He took Fred Rosser.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Rosser to retain. All right, next
No
one.
days off.
We got the Motor City Machine Guns defending the strong.
Titus O'Neil, chill the fuck out, all right?
Look at my dog.
Chill out, Titus O'Neil.
Even the dog was trying to figure out what the hell you were doing. The tag team match for the strong openweight tag team titles, Motor City Machine Guns defending against the West Coast Wrecking Crew. Joe, go ahead.
Who the fuck? Who are the West Coast Wrecking Crew?
Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaacs.
You know, the funny thing is that helped me not at all.
I have no idea who that is.
Joe, I found the show.
Fighting?
They are taking on the Motor City Machine Guns, who are the current champions.
Let's go Motor City Machine Guns. Fuck yeah.
For the record, Joe, I found
Detroit.
the show that match is actually happening on.
Which one is it? For everyone not watching video, I'm pointing at my thumb and doing the Detroit thing, but not really because like my dog is stopping me. Detroit.
Jesus Christ. Friday, February 24th
Stop.
from Sam's Town in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. It is Impact Wrestling's No Surrender that has Rich Swann versus Josh Alexander.
There we go.
Mickey James versus Masha Slamovich. The Time Machine of the Motor City Machine Guns and Kushida taking on Ace Austin, Kenta, and Chris Bay. A four-way match for the the number one contender match between Macklin, Myers, Heath, and PCO. Joe Henry versus Moose, the Death Dolls versus the Hex. Khan with the design against Kazarian. And then there's 2 matches on the countdown, including Mike Bailey versus Jonathan Gresham.
Who do you got in this one, Mike?
Give me the team from Detroit, because we're going down to the Motor City together or some bullshit, whatever.
Yeah, Machine Guns. I'll go this one because it's a big match. Jay White taking on Eddie Kingston in a loser leaves New Japan match. This one's pretty
okay.
odd.
No, it's like a
because Jay White's already
leaves...
wrestling Japan anymore, right?
Right, but
Correct.
So the stipulation here, I read about this today. Wait, this is the fun one. The stipulation is Jay White, if he loses, he can't wrestle in New Japan ever again, period, whether it's stateside or Japan. But if Eddie Kingston loses, then he can only wrestle in New Japan and against New Japan talents at other shows with Jay White's permission. So,
okay.
There's a little bit of a twist to it. I feel like this is an obvious setup to say goodbye to Jay White. It's like the Jay White New Japan farewell tour continues. And we're going to say goodbye here, which would then imply that he's probably WWE bound. And that's actually pretty exciting to me. Huh?
To get through the rest of this, I need more tequila, because how the fuck are we supposed to... Jay White's approval... Is that supposed to come via FedEx, or is that like an email, or is that a PDF? Does he send out a list every month of people that Eddie Kingston can face? Like, the fuck?
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. I really think that's just convoluted. We got to make it sound like there's something that Eddie Kingston can lose in this also, but it feels like it's pretty obvious who's going to win.
Before you continue, Jim, can I just bring this up to the panel?
Sure, why not? We've already derailed this show 17 times already.
It's okay.
Impact
He just wants to read one of the cards from one of the wrestling shows coming up at Wrestlemania. We're good.
God, no. We'll have enough time to do that. Chicago, Impact Wrestling is doing a 2023 season pass.
Whoa.
You can get a season pass for 3 high-profiled multi-day events scheduled for the 2023 year in Chicago, Illinois, including Bound for Glory. Those events include Spring Slugfest, April 28th through 29th, Chicago Heat, July 28th and 29th, Bound for Glory on the 21st, and the Fallout show the next night. Those season passes currently go for anywhere between $0 to $500, depending on where you want to sit.
Wait, are there options for $0?
No. That'd be epic.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that Impact let people into their audience for $0.
I mean,
you can sit. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand this at all. But you can buy like a front row seat at the entrance right now. There's no way that's a front row seat, but whatever. For $218 for all 4 events. Sorry, I just saw that and I was like, what the fuck is a season pass? I have to ask the panel.
It's weird. I don't understand it. I feel like it's an odd concept, and they're basically just trying to scam people. Bernie Sanders of wrestling. Bernie Madoff. That guy.
Wow. There's a big difference.
They're very different people.
There's a big difference.
Do you need some tequila? I can get you some.
My goodness. But yeah, it's definitely Kingston, right? No question.
I really feel like that, yes.
I'm not going to say no question, because I feel like you then, like, I don't know. I feel like they'd have more fun just knowing that he's in like AEW or he's in WWE, they're like, Jay White has said who Eddie Kingston could wrestle. I think just think that they would have like dumb fun with that shit in New Japan. I mean, honestly, I don't think that Jay White is staying no matter what. So, I mean, if he loses, he loses. I don't think it's like, I just wouldn't have even had him on this show. I would have had Eddie Kingston take on somebody else because I feel like it takes away from.
It does. It's
Here's
weird.
what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. If Jay White's going to AEW, there's a chance he wins.
That's dumb.
No, there's a chance he wins because of their working relationship. You can't shut that door all the way.
Because then, yeah, you can cross promote one another if he's going to AEW. If he is going to WWE, there is a less than 0% chance that Kingston loses. Like,
I can see that.
I feel like if he was going just to AEW though, then why would you kill any chance of him being able to go back to Japan even for like one match? Like even just to have him, like they got Kenny back at Wrestle Kingdom this year. So even just to have Jay White at Wrestle Kingdom next year, if you have it in a realm of possibility, why would you kill that potential option?
I mean, because you can still get there. What happens if he goes to AEW, beats Kenny Omega for the U.S. title, and then they're like,
because what if it's an AEW show that's in Japan?
Oh yeah.
Or just say hypothetically he wins the U.S. title in September, and they're like, well, we need that on the show. Jay White's like, can't be there, bud. And they're like, well, no, you have to be there. Can't be there, bud. Then it becomes a storyline. You get him back there for a one-off. It's not like you're bringing him back to be an everyday member of the roster anymore. So it's like there's odds, there's ways around it. But
yeah,
I mean, I feel like him doing a loser leaves the U.S. version of New Japan just takes away from Hilikio's beating him in Japan. Like I feel like you have an opportunity to build a new star because he beat a former 2-time or 3-time IWGP World Champion, and now you're like, yeah. But a week later, the guy's going to lose the same kind of match to Eddie Kingston, who hasn't had a match in New Japan.
Yeah, no. It's
That's bold.
It's the like it's no longer impressive to beat Goldberg when Braun Strowman's beating Goldberg. Like, okay,
so
if everyone's just gonna beat Jay White out of wrestling in a different country, like,
so Jay White losing in New Japan is like the equivalent of Jeff Jarrett winning the tag titles in every stop in Tennessee, even though he won the titles at the previous stop.
Yes,
with his partner.
Yes,
if
like
you listen to this week's...
I need Jay White losing to like Will Ospreay in the UK, and now he can no longer wrestle in like New Japan UK shows, and just give me like every country. Let's just have him lose a match.
That was part of this week's episode of Jeff Jarrett show. Literally, they were literally like, we won the title in Hendersonville, and then the next night we won the titles in Knoxville, because it was like this wasn't on TV, so we wanted to give the people the title change every night for like 5 nights in a row. Like they won the tag titles every night, even though they were already the champs.
Yeah, I mean, in the days before the internet, why not?
In 1985 or 86 when he was a rookie, yeah.
So yeah, those days are long gone.
See you bye.
But yeah, all right. Next one, title match, a singles match for the ugliest championship in professional wrestling today. Zack Sabre Jr. defends the World Television Championship against Clark Connors. Mike,
polish a turd. It's still a turd. Give me turdy brown belts to retain.
Joe.
Yeah, I'll take Zach just because. Although I like Clark Connors, what I've seen of him, like the little bit I've seen,
you don't know Clark
does
Connors.
Have a lot of star potential. Yeah, I do.
You know him about as much as they want to talk about Bruno in Encanto.
What?
You know as much about Clark Connors as they want to talk about Bruno in the movie Encanto.
No, I've seen him wrestle. I've seen him either on AEW or New Japan. Like, I've seen him wrestle for sure.
Jim, who you taking?
Sabre Jr. There's no way they're moving the title this quick. By the way, did you see Dynamite only did 824,000 for last night's show?
Wow.
I'm oh so surprised.
When's our evolution?
March.
March 5th.
Looking at 2
So
weeks.
you're
Yeah.
officially you're you're the 3 dynamites away from one of your
I
4
gotta take that day
pay-per-views.
off of work.
What's that?
I gotta take that day off of work.
But like your last night was 3 dynamites away from one of your 4 pay-per-views.
Hot garbage.
Oof, brutal. All right, next one. We have the IWGP Women's Championship. Kyrie defending against Mercedes Moné. Mike, because Joe disappeared.
Yeah, he's probably going to get high.
It happens.
I want it to be Kyrie, but I feel like the writing is obviously on the wall that it's time to cash in those credit card debts for a little bit more Monet.
Joe, you there?
Yeah. What's up?
Kyrie defending against Mercedes.
3-day
Oh, I
bank,
mean, like
3-day bank loan, or Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
there's no scenario where Mercedes isn't winning this. That this is what the show is being sold on. Like not just her appearance. It's her winning the title.
I don't necessarily say that there's no chance. I mean,
I will.
we obviously no, but listen to me. Hear me out. We said there was no chance that Kenny Omega was losing at Wrestle Kingdom against her, Kazuchika Okada. He lost like 4 more shows against him before he won the IWGP title. So if there's a company in the world that will literally hold off on pulling the trigger, it is New Japan. Like,
You want to know why this is different though?
Because it's in America.
Well, because Kenny, well, 1, it's in America, and 2, because Kenny and Okada are New Japan guys.
Yeah.
They were there. They're under contract.
There.
I don't think Mercedes is long for this world, for this company's world. So I think she comes in, she wins the title,
Wouldn't it be better
she
if she
defends
lost?
it. She defends it at 1 or 2 events moving forward, and in 6 months she drops it and she's gone. Like I don't think she's I don't think she's a long-term New Japan star. I don't think she's a long-term anywhere star in wrestling anymore.
Yeah,
I
I
think-
feel like the longest I could see her being around is maybe till Wrestle Kingdom next year, just so she can wrestle out of Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Meh.
I definitely see her winning the belt here. I agree with Jim's reasoning also.
Yeah, I think this is a slam dunk. I think this is a slam dunk for.
I hope she loses so I can just point at both of you next week and go.
I mean, I'm not saying I necessarily want it. I mean, quite frankly, I don't really care either way.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think you give a single fuck.
But it just, I mean, it definitely feels like all the lead up, her signing, all of it is just a here. You know, we're gonna give her the title right away in California. She's from California. And like, yeah, I think this is easy. Then lastly, singles match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Okada defending against Tanahashi. Joe.
Wait, you know what? Just real fast,
Yeah.
last point to make about that last one, because I think you really hit the nail on the head there too. I think if the plan was for her to not win the belt on her first match, they would have just done it in Japan. They would have done it at the February, like the big shows. What was that? The New Beginning shows that they do after Wrestle Kingdom come for the beginning of February. They would have just done it there, because there it doesn't matter if Mercedes wins. Half the fans don't even know who the fuck she is. So you're doing it here.
I would disagree with that assessment, but okay.
Well, I mean, that's the way it seemed at Wrestle Kingdom. A lot of people didn't really seem to like people knew her, but some people really didn't. You know, we talked about that when the show happened. But I just feel like if they were gonna not have her win, they would have just gotten that match out of the way, as opposed to saving it for literally her hometown, like Jim said. You know, I think that's a factor. You know,
I just feel that you're not going to waste that match on a throwaway show regardless. Like I feel like if you told me that they waited till March and did it at Sakura Genesis or they did it something like that, like sure, but I don't feel like they were ever wasting that match. You know, New Beginnings, they had that show lined up. Obviously the Jay White stuff. They didn't have a women's match on the show. I mean, at the end of the day, like I feel like she wants to wrestle in Japan, like she wants to do stuff in Japan, like not just be part of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, like I feel like that's like you're not going to put that match on a random, New Beginnings or anything like that. I feel like you're going to build that, and that's why it makes sense to do it on bigger shows. Like I get it. Like I almost feel like Battle at the Valley is too small of a show for this match personally. Like I get it why they're doing it. It's her hometown and it's supposed to help sell, a 3,500 seat venue. I digress. It's one of those things where I feel like this match at Sakura Genesis or something like that inside one of the bigger venues in Japan, it could be a major part of the show. But I just feel like it's just kind of like, oh hey, we're doing the match. We're doing it in North America. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they were gonna make this like a multi-match like feud, that they would have just brought her in before Wrestle Kingdom or announced that the match was going to be at Wrestle Kingdom.
I don't think she could be there before Wrestle Kingdom.
I mean, they still could have announced the match, or they could have like announced a mystery opponent and made it all pretty much blatantly obvious that it was going to be her. You know what I mean? Like
I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I don't necessarily know that she actually could be there.
No, I don't think she could have been there before either, but you could have,
especially because of how.
Here's the thing, you knew you were getting her for that, or you were fairly certain. So you could have easily made it obvious it was going to be her and just done the match at Wrestle Kingdom if it was going to be a long-term feud. Like I think this is going to be, she's going to win it. She'll have a feud elsewhere and then drop it. No, 6 months. But anyway, Okada, Tanahashi, world title. Joe, what do you got?
I got no reason to think that Okada is losing the belt right now, so gonna go with Okada for the win.
Michael?
I've already predicted like 13 title changes out of the 17 matches on this show. I feel like this is Tony Khan presents Japanese wrestling. A champion has to retain at some point. I'll take Okada to retain.
I'll go Okada to retain as well. Yeah, I mean, the match should be fantastic though.
Sure, Tony Khan presents Japanese wrestling.
Yeah, anytime those two jump in the ring together, it's always a fantastic pairing.
All right, well there it is. I'm certain we'll talk at least about parts of this next week. But he's going back in. Good pop. I like the good pop on that. All right, Joe.
That did sound good.
Joe, this is your topic.
Yeah, just real easy. I feel like we've always referred to Shawn Michaels as Mr. WrestleMania, but Mr. WrestleMania hasn't wrestled in about 13 WrestleManias now. I believe his last one was 26?
It was the year before we started our streak.
So then 27.
No, he literally hasn't wrestled since then because we don't talk about anything that could be referred to as a wrestling match.
We don't talk about blood money on this show.
Yeah, we don't.
If Shawn Michaels couldn't see in the same direction out of both eyes during the match, then it didn't happen.
Some bald dude in chaps doesn't count as the Heartbreak Kid.
No, that just left me heartbroken.
Oh, that was rough.
So, since Shawn Michaels hasn't wrestled, like I said, in like 13 WrestleManias, or I guess 12 WrestleManias, it's a decade worth of WrestleManias at the very least. My question is, who in the post-Shawn Michaels WrestleMania world, who is Mr. WrestleMania now?
What? I've never quite understood how a guy who went 6-11 at WrestleMania was named Mr. WrestleMania.
Because
Because it's all
had-
about the performance in the
he had
ring.
he had the best matches, even though he was losing.
Okay, so the answer is Seth Rollins.
That is kind of how I feel too, to be honest.
Oh, if it's not Seth Rollins, prove to me that it's not Seth Rollins, because if the standard is you don't have to win, you just have to be like the moment that's remembered. Like, I feel like Seth Rollins is in that spot a lot.
Yeah, how do you feel about the promo that Rollins did on Raw this week, where he says that he's never main evented a WrestleMania? Because there's an argument that he kind of has main evented a WrestleMania.
Because of 31.
Yeah, I mean, the end of the night, he won the main event. Like, he might not have been announced for it, but
I guess that's his point. Is technically speaking, he's never been like. So when you have the main event of WrestleMania, all of the advertisements leading up to it have two faces or three faces or whatever it is on the posters and all of that. He's never been that dude.
yeah, I guess.
So I get it.
Do you think he ever will?
Technically, he has. Technically, he main evented, but I guess cashing in your Money in the Bank doesn't necessarily count.
So, do you think he ever will, like, officially main event?
I
Will the
hope
boyhood dream
so.
come true?
I hope so. Because I think he certainly deserves it, and I think there's a case that outside of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins is probably the most important male superstar in the last decade. If you really think about it,
Interesting.
like he has been, I don't like to use the word pillar because like that's an AEW word, but like he's kind of been like the backbone of so many feuds,
Yeah.
so many moments, and he is the guy that is always trusted. Like
Yeah.
like I don't think that him being like Triple H's like plan B, like with the Shield turn, I don't think that's necessarily inaccurate. Like that's almost
for
like
sure.
that's almost like art imitating life. Like he and if you really look at it, because like Cody comes in, first thing he does is work with Seth. Sting comes in, like obviously he did the Triple H match, but like the next thing Sting did was like a Rollins feud.
Yeah.
Almost have his career ended.
Like, well, it's also not Rollins' fault. I mean, if we're being honest about it, like it's not like,
No, of course not.
you know, you take a buckle bomb wrong. Like,
Well, I mean, he also dislocated Finn Balor's shoulder doing the same move on the outside in a Universal title match.
because Finn,
Maybe we should stop doing the buckle bomb.
I mean, you can, but how many buckle bombs has he done? He's hurt two people.
Yeah. One of them shouldn't have taken the move to begin with, 87-year-old Sting. The other one, you're doing it to the outside. There's nothing good that can happen from that move on the outside.
I mean, there's nothing good that can come from things that Darby Allin does or that Matt Hardy does or Jeff Hardy does or
Even AJ Styles is like broken a neck or two with the Styles Clash.
I mean, Samoa Joe ended Tyson Kidd's career, but he's still doing that move off the top rope as of a couple weeks ago.
You can't fix stupid.
Like, but yeah, I just Rollins has just kind of been that dude.
What's been your favorite Seth Rollins WrestleMania match?
Off the top of my head, the match with Cody last year was perfection. It was perfection. And it would have been my match of the year last year if it wasn't for the Hell in a Cell.
I can see that. Yeah. No, I can totally see that. And I agree with you. I think Rollins might be the answer here too. Honestly, like I have a hard time, like you said, if the criteria is having the match stealing show, the show stealing match on a WrestleMania, it's hard to think of another wrestler who has done that as often as Seth has. And like I really am almost like hard pressed. Like part of me thinks Jericho could have been in the conversation if he had stuck around in WWE instead of going out to AEW and New Japan, because he is one of those wrestlers who is always good. He was always good for a big WrestleMania match, and yeah, not all of them delivered. Like the Kevin Owens match wasn't as great as it could have been. Certainly, it felt like from the storyline, but more often than not, he hit it out of the park. And I do feel like if he was still part of the company, he'd still be in high-profile matches every year and probably still hitting it out the park.
Fair, Mike. You look like you have a thought about this.
Michael?
He's going to say Charlotte Flair. Mrs. WrestleMania.
Do I need to get the tequila? Because it definitely is Charlotte Flair.
There's a whole other topic. Who's Miss WrestleMania?
Charlotte Flair.
Fuck you.
Becky Lynch.
I think it's actually Bianca for the record, but we can have that debate another night.
Yeah, maybe it's a topic for next week.
Maybe.
My Mr. WrestleMania also has a losing record. Brock Lesnar.
Okay, I'll hear it.
Beat the streak.
Yeah.
Involved in heist of the century. Good match against Seth to start New York in 19.
That was a perfect opener. Like that was
perfect.
A really good opener.
The Roman Reigns match, not last year, the first Roman Reigns match back at I have the list here. His match against Roman in 2018 at WrestleMania 34 was a good one.
Okay.
The 2020 match against Drew. I know it was inside the Thunderdome, so that kind of gets blemished because of that, but I feel like it was a good match. Wasn't great, but it was a moment.
I like his match against Goldberg, the title one that was like 8 minutes long. Like that match to me.
The entrances were longer than the match.
Yeah, but it needed to be that. That's exactly what it needed to be.
I mean,
like an action movie.
People like, oh, he's always in the title match. The match that he had against Dean Ambrose at 32 wasn't terrible. People don't love that match.
That one was a little rough.
It was rough because people also look at it as one of their fucking founding fathers of the Shield got yeeted across fucking by Brock Lesnar. Like at the end of the day, Brock Lesnar should be doing that. Like it is Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I mean, I'm capable of being objective about it, unlike people who are Ambrose and Shield marks. But it wasn't that one. One kind of stank. I don't think, and I think by that point Ambrose had started already kind of checking out a bit. So
I would say if you look at his entire, even if you go back the match against Goldberg where they both got booed out of the building, we didn't even mention the fact that his best match was against Kurt Angle at 19.
That's a good point.
The one where he almost broke his neck.
Yeah, shooting star. Oops, I did it again. Yeah, like his in reality, like was there live. His worst match was probably last year against Roman, and I think that was truly because Roman's shoulder gave out during that match.
Yeah, that one was tough. That one was an injury situation.
Like I know it was the unification match, but I guarantee you that match was supposed to have so much more to it. They went home early because Roman was hurt. Like it is what it is.
You could tell that.
Guy couldn't lift his left arm past about here.
I think we got the ridiculousness of SummerSlam because
of how bad the fucking WrestleMania match was.
Yeah, well, and because Randy Orton,
correct,
is on his career is maybe coming back, but at one point seemed possibly done. To
be honest with you, he's another name that floated around.
Yeah, Orton's up there.
Orton's had too many stinkers.
Has he?
At Mania, I mean, the 2 Bray Wyatt matches alone were both
Oof, yeah.
like I like the second one because I like the story, and to me, it's like if you don't judge it as a wrestling match and you just play the story out, like that was a fantastic production. That first one where they had like the fucking bugs projected onto the ring, that shit was rough.
Yeah, you know what? I'll disqualify Randy Orton for the bugs in the ring match.
I mean, he also had the greatest RKO spot in WrestleMania history with Seth.
He did.
Yeah.
But
And he was also
Rollins, I think, is the argument here.
well, and he was also involved in Daniel Bryan's moment. He was involved in the Shield's first big moment at WrestleMania. You know, CM Punk in Atlanta. You know, I mean, he had some like Mr. Kennedy and Money in the Bank. He was in that match. His match against Angle and Rey Mysterio at 22 was good. I feel like there's more hits than there are duds. Like it sucks because his latest ones have been duds. You know, the Bray Wyatt matches and stuff like that. But I mean, legitimately, you know, he was involved in 2 of the biggest moments
I think
WrestleMania history.
I think my thing with Orton and probably what cancels it out as being Mr. WrestleMania is like, so Michaels, it would like these were monumental moments. You know, it was ladder match. It was Iron Man match, boyhood dream comes true. It was the Austin match. It was, you know, the series with Taker. It was the Ric Flair, I'm sorry, I love you. Like these, like
the Jericho match.
Yeah, the Jericho match. Like Michaels didn't he doesn't, you know, 6 and 11, like 17 years.
So
That's less than half the Manias. And
so basically from
WrestleMania
WrestleMania 10 on, because you know he had some real duds in there also before that. So we're saying his WrestleMania life is from WrestleMania 10 on, because that's when the ladder match was. Because Tatanka at 9 was a dud.
I like that match. That's the best match on that show.
That match is like the 13th best match on a 10-match card on that show. Like that whole card was hot garbage. Let's be real.
I'll argue that match may have been the best match on WrestleMania.
That's what I just said. That match was the best match on that show, hands down.
Crush versus Doink, because there was a second Doink. Don't lie to me.
Oh my god.
No, that was the best moment, not the best match.
But that's my point. You literally your argument was
right.
Best moments. It was the moments. It was the boyhood dream. It was the ladder match. It was doing that. Akeem and the Big Boss Man versus the Rockers. Sato and Pat Tanaka, like that's what I'm saying. He's had duds also. So if we're going to discredit,
I'm not denying that. But
if we're slamming the gavel on Randy Orton because they projected bugs on the fucking ring, his matches against the Barbarian and Haku have to weigh down the next good that happens. Like,
but to be fair, I don't feel like an 8-minute match with the Rockers versus the Barbarian and Haku is anywhere near as bad as the Randy Orton Triple H WrestleMania main events.
Shawn Michaels versus Mr. McMahon with God in his corner. I'm sorry, that's worse.
No, I'm sorry. I'll take the Shawn Michaels match. Of those two, I will watch the Shawn Michaels match all day.
I more power to you, bud. Just that was god awful.
And I get we're trying. I guess my question to the topic too is like, are we trying to, is this just like an all time who's behind Michaels, or like, are we naming it and moving forward?
Specifically after he retired.
Okay, because like to me, like if you're gonna do it, like I would almost want it to be somebody.
So what year was his last match? 2000 and
it would have been
10.
It would have been 2010, I think.
Yeah.
The other name that I'm coming up with straight up is Triple H.
which I feel like there's a case
I'd
for
be
that.
fine with it.
Taker twice, Brock
Yeah.
at 29, Bryan at 30, Sting at 31, Roman at 32, Seth at 33, and then him and Steph versus Angle and Ronda. That was his
Yeah,
run
well, then
after.
he had the Batista match then at 35.
Oh, I'm just saying that's what that just it ended after like that. I'm just saying, but literally like that's his run post Shawn.
I feel like it's an underrated run. Is the funny thing because when you list it off on paper like that, it really is.
And if you look at it from basically his entire like you get rid of the Ultimate Warrior bullshit, you get rid of the Goldust match, like Owen Hart, Kane, the Fatal 4-Way against Rock, Foley, and Big Show, Undertaker the first time at 17, Jericho at 18, Booker T at 19, Benoit and Michaels at 20, Batista at 21, Cena at 22, Orton and Cena at 24. And then it's Orton, Sheamus, and Sheamus was the year that Michaels retired. And then that run that I listed a minute ago.
Yeah, no, I mean it's an impressive run. Like I said, I could see a case for that. I feel like what it does lack, kind of what Jim was saying before, though, is maybe some of the memorable moments. Because Triple H, I don't know that a lot of them I'd call memorable moments.
Sting's first match in WWE greater than pretty much a lot of things.
Not better than Seth Rollins cashing in that main event.
Ronda Rousey's first match greater than.
I think Rollins has a lot more greater thans, personally.
What great moments does he have except for cashing in?
Besides cashing in, well, last year with Cody.
That's Cody's moment. That's not Seth's moment.
I don't know that I agree with that. He was a big part of that match. I feel like he's definitely that included.
Ronda Rousey's first match and Triple H beating Daniel Bryan mercifully and Sting's first match are all more important than Seth Rollins being the victim to Cody Rhodes' WWE return.
I disagree, but okay.
But so you're telling me that him being involved in Cody Rhodes' return is greater than Sting's first match in WWE history?
Yes.
I won't. I don't know that I'll say that. But those other ones, I may say that.
So, okay, so
because like Ronda's like
WrestleMania pandemic,
like
where his moment was
it was not
Kevin
like
Owens
it
jumping
wasn't like
off
the
of the
day
sign.
Ronda showed up. Like Ronda showing up at the Rumble feels bigger even than her first match. I think. Like I get it was her first match and that's great, but like you're in there with the Bionic Man and Stephanie McMahon. Like the match wasn't great. It was.
Oh, I'm not. But when you look at it, I feel like there's also more clunks here. 21 against Cesaro. Was anything that he did in that match really memorable? Kevin Owens was more known for Kevin Owens jumping off the sign at the pandemic. You know, yes, he had the great match with Brock that we talked about when I brought up Brock Lesnar. 24, he wins the Intercontinental title from The Miz and Finn Balor. Like,
I love that match.
Yeah, it's a good match, but I truly feel that Sting's match means more to wrestling than him beating The Miz and Finn Balor.
I mean, but again, if we're talking about from a quality standpoint, though, like in-ring wrestling wise, that three-way is one of the best like opening matches in a WrestleMania period. And Triple H and Sting is a very cool moment. It is, but it's not like a great match.
He also wrestled in a triple threat match against Kane and the New Age Outlaws, but we don't want to talk about that.
But okay.
I mean, so what I'm saying is, if we're bringing up
first moments,
but your guys' whole argument is it's moments. But Joe's now telling me that the match outweighs Sting's moment.
No. My argument from the start was stealing the show, like which includes the best
Sting's
match on the show.
Sting versus Triple H. The only thing that beats it on that entire show is Seth cashing in.
So that Seth greater than Triple H?
No, because Triple H also had bigger moments at other shows. His moment with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30 that made Daniel Bryan on that night is bigger than him beating Finn Balor in The Miz.
That's fine for moments, but like I said, I'm taking my point of view personally is match quality. And
then
from
say
that point of view,
then say that is your criteria from the very
but I
beginning.
literally just did.
Yeah, but you did it 20 minutes.
Said it twice.
You did it 20 minutes into the topic where I've already made my point. Start with that. Don't end with that.
I actually did say that from the beginning. You can go back and listen. I said that from the start.
Don't worry, I will because I listened to the whole show.
I'm on this whole episode. I'll listen to this whole show.
Sure you will.
I know it's a smaller sample size.
But Logan Paul.
Nope.
Logan Paul. The guy who's literally going to main event his 5th WrestleMania out of 10 this year.
Roman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's an argument there. You're not wrong.
So it was, you had the Shield in a 6-man
clunker.
But then you had the you had a match with Drew. You had the what was it? The Shield, and was that their debut? Was that their Was that their main roster debut?
They had 2 6-man
at
tag
29.
matches. Correct. That match was god awful.
Yeah, that wasn't
30 wasn't much better against Kane and the New Age Outlaws, but I digress.
Well, yeah, that was the first one that I said.
I was to say, but those were their first 2 matches for the 6-man tag matches.
But then once Roman became Roman, then of course you had, at the time retirement of the Undertaker. You had the Lesnar main event, and then you had the Triple H main event. You had the triple threat at 30. Well, it turned into a triple threat at 31, and then the triple threat at 37. I mean, all the dude does is main event WrestleManias, basically.
Yeah. I mean, no, there's a case to be made there. You're not wrong. Like you said, he's main evented more than just about anybody else. I think he's main evented as many, if not more, than Hogan at this point.
Probably. Or this year might break that. I think this year might break that record.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's something to be said there. I'm a little interested in the fact that John Cena never came up in this conversation.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily opposed to Cena either. I mean, the dude's 10-5 at Mania. Which is tied for the second best record.
Wow.
Or the second most wins, I should say. Triple H has 10, Cena 10. I mean, obviously the Undertaker at 25. I personally, for me, I've never understood why Mr. WrestleMania wasn't the Undertaker. I mean, I understand that you didn't,
because you didn't have good matches.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah.
That's gonna be my answer to everything from now on.
No, but that's
didn't have good matches.
If we're gonna be fucking dicks about, why don't we just move on to the next fucking topic?
But the funny thing is that actually is a valid answer.
It's the same. It's the same reason why Cena. It's the same reason why Cena isn't. Bray Wyatt, that match wasn't good. Rusev, that match wasn't good. Him and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maurice wasn't good. Him versus Undertaker at the end wasn't good. He had some good matches in the middle. The Miz match at 27. The Edge and Big Show match at 25 wasn't bad.
Okay, I mean, I wouldn't have Cena as mine, so
I'm just saying Cena's name never came up. I'm just saying,
yeah.
I'm telling you why Cena didn't come up on mine. The moments weren't there. The matches definitely weren't there. I mean, at the end of the day, Personal opinion. I personally don't think that he could be Mr. WrestleMania because his moments are kind of mid, and if his moments are mid, are his matches any better?
Okay, cool. Then it's not Cena.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I told you I brought Brock to the table. I brought Triple H to the table. There's a moment that you can sit here and if you want to sell Cody Rhodes because of his moment at last year's being the new Mr. WrestleMania, fine. I have some oceanfront property I'd like to talk to you about as well. But I mean,
I think Cody is in this conversation in like 5 years.
I mean, he could potentially be, depending what the next 5 years look like. But I mean, I even said when you said Lesnar, I said I would hear the argument, and I wouldn't even necessarily be opposed to Lesnar being that guy. I think Lesnar has a better case than Triple H, and I'm a Triple H guy. Triple H is on my Mount Rushmore all time, personal Mount Rushmore.
Is there anyone else that we want to bring to the table, or are we?
I don't even fucking know at this point.
I think I'm good.
I mean, there's other names that you can bring to the table if you truly want to. I mean, you could sit here and you could bring up people like I don't know, The Big Show, The Rock. I mean, that's a guy that we haven't talked about, but since he also didn't have any matches after Shawn retired. I mean, the problem is it's a very limited number of people that you can literally go to if you narrow this down to since Shawn has retired.
Yeah, oh for sure.
You know, Batista was in a ton of big WrestleMania matches, but it's Batista, you know, who's really going to sit here and listen to anybody talk about Batista. You know, he's only had 3 WrestleMania matches since, you know, Shawn retired. So it's one of those things where I feel like this is more of a, wow, there really ain't been shit for WrestleMania like guys since Shawn is retired. If you're not talking about literally Roman, Rollins, Triple H, technically Cena, I guess, even though I kind of debunked him. Like, there's like 5 guys that you could literally put on your list that like you could make an argument for. I don't feel like there's like a ton of depth.
Also, I think that also speaks to the fact that in the post Shawn Michaels world, which is the last 15 years, when you've already hit the point of football stadiums, WrestleMania sells itself. You don't need a Mr. WrestleMania anymore.
I wholeheartedly agree with that assessment. I personally, Mr. WrestleMania since Shawn Michaels is still to me the guy who it's been the entire time, probably, and that's The Undertaker.
Yeah, I think that's, again, to me,
Hunter twice, Punk, Brock, Bray Wyatt, Shane McMahon, Roman Reigns, John Cena.
Yeah, I again.
And by the way, Bray was hurt for that match, and the entrance sucked because it was the middle of the day in San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you literally, from the point it hit 9, from 9 till 25, or I guess 21 or whatever it was, but for the better part of the next decade and a half, once you realized, oh, this guy's never lost at WrestleMania, it became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like WrestleMania became synonymous with the streak. To me, The Undertaker is more Mr. WrestleMania even than Shawn Michaels. For me.
I don't know that I would have Shawn Michaels in my top 5 of Mr. WrestleManias.
I probably wouldn't either. And maybe
I'm Undertaker, I'm Brock, I'm Seth Rollins, I'm Triple H, then maybe Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I'm not even necessarily disagreeing with you there.
Because it's one of those things where it's like, take the ladder match out, take the Benoit triple threat match out. Like, the Jericho match was okay. It wasn't like I don't go back and go, I need to watch that match every year. He had some real clunkers in there, you know, and then if you take his early stuff when he was a tag team, or even whenever it was him versus Tito Santana, like, meh, like it was there, like cool, like it was the Virgil of the show. Like, you're going to get a good 8-minute wrestling match, but then Hogan's going to come out and pose.
Yeah. I mean,
It was never.
Undertaker also had matches with Snuka and Robert.
Oh, I'm aware.
Giant Gonzalez, and
that's why I always say the beginning of his streak is worthless.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't hear you. Can't hear you.
We can't hear you at all, Joe. I don't know what the hell happened.
Nope, got nothing. Nope. You probably made a valid point about Austin Theory's abs or something. I know, weird, right? It is what it is. I don't know.
He apparently can hear us. Bye, Joe.
And he'll come back in a second.
Yeah, he'll be back here.
He's trying to reset it, probably. Yeah, no, I don't necessarily know that I think that Shawn's the top. Like, it's easy because, like, you talk about the Iron Man match, you talk about the ladder match and stuff like that. Like, there are like one or two matches that his WrestleMania career is like propped up on. Yeah, sure, they're great matches, they're great moments, but it's like, just because you have two of the best WrestleMania matches of all time doesn't mean you're Mr. WrestleMania, especially whenever it's like one of them happened at 10.
I think he got that billing when he had that run, because like it was the ladder match at 10.
Yep.
It was the Diesel match, right?
That match wasn't that good.
At 11. Well, again, it was in that spot.
It was after him coming.
It was the best match on a terrible card.
It was also him going
Can
wire
you hear
to
me
wire.
now?
Yes. It was also him going wire to wire at the Rumble.
Right.
So wait, the point I was going to make earlier was not about Austin Theory's abs, though. Obviously,
I mean, I just took a shot at the dark and hope that it stuck.
What I was going to say was Undertaker's streak didn't start producing actually good matches until Mania 17 with Triple H.
That's probably fair.
Yeah, I don't think that there's
the time they started counting it too.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single one before that that's actually good.
But I think Michaels got the name because it was the ladder match at 10, the best match on the terrible card at 11, the boyhood dream comes true. What did he do at 13?
Was that the Iron Man match, or was that
12 was the Iron Man? 13
was
I think he was off that year. Yeah, he was off that year. 14 was the Austin match. So I think it just happened in like a 4-year period. He was part of, and he had the Rumble story. So it was coast to coast at the Rumble. He had back-to-back Rumble wins. Like, Shawn Michaels was kind of just like the face of the new generation. So I think they like kind of just gave him that moniker to help promote that period of time.
Yeah.
And then it just stuck. Like, again, when you really dig into it, I don't know if he really is Mr. WrestleMania, because those first couple, like in a what was it, 17 match bunch, you have a handful or so that are throwaways before 10, so you're already down to about 10 matches in a nearly 40-year span.
Yeah.
Like, and then there's even a couple throwaways after the fact. Like, yeah, there's big, huge ones. The two Taker matches, the Flair match, like, and the match with Austin. I mean, he was on his way out.
Yeah,
and that was more about Austin's crowning moment.
That was more like, about Tyson being a portion of the show than.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I when Joe, and I think when you had pieced out for a second, like Mike and I were talking, like, if we really build our own personal ones, and this may be something for between now and Mania one of these weeks, that we build our own WrestleMania top 5 superstars.
Yeah.
And Michaels may not even make, we were saying like he may be lucky to make number 5.
Interesting.
Depending how it shakes out. So maybe this is something we table and have that discussion.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, let's revisit that.
So not Bret Hart, we all agree. Got it. Cool.
What? I think we can't hear you, Joe.
Again?
No, I'm just fucking with you because you're an asshole. All right, Mike, your topic.
I mean, I'm normally the Bret Hart hater.
Michael.
I'll tell you this much. I think he's got a better shot to be in my top 5 than Shawn does.
Ooh, man, that could be a topic in and of itself. I might steal that. For 3 now.
You're welcome. Oh, all right. As I have to adjust. Elimination Chamber, as we like to call it in the show, the Limoncello Chamber match. The show takes place this coming up Saturday. The Bell Centre, as it's so elegantly called in
Entry Bell.
In Montreal, Quebec, Canada. 5 matches currently announced for the show. We'll start with the first one. The chamber matches towards the end of this thing. It is everybody's favorite Money in the Bank winner, Cowboy Brock Lesnar, taking on everybody's favorite Hill, Bobby Lashley. I don't think that this match has a conclusion because I feel like this is still a WrestleMania match. Give me a no. Give me a no contest. Give me a double.
That's what I have. That's what I have.
Something.
I think this feud is going to Mania, because
who else are you going to pair with both of these guys in? Like
Lashley's not going to be involved in the U.S. title picture at Mania. Neither of them. I think that this isn't. I think Gunther Brock happens at SummerSlam. I hope it happens at SummerSlam.
I can see Gunther versus Brock at next year WrestleMania for a world title.
Yeah.
No, I think
you can keep them away from each other long enough.
Yeah, I think SummerSlam, because even if it's Gunther's crowning moment, I don't think Lesnar gets another title run between now. That's a side point.
Yeah.
So there's not really anything for either guy to do because Lesnar's obviously not in the undisputed universal title picture. So
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What's their record against each other? Of this current feud? Is it just
0-0?
Well, no, because did Brock beat? Because they're taking this back to Rumble of last year when Lashley beat Brock.
Then I think it's 1-0 Bobby because I don't think they've had another match because they had the interaction at Royal Rumble.
So then, if that's the case, I think you can get away with Brock winning this one and then them being 1-1, and you've got your inborn let's settle this at WrestleMania. That alone, without having to do a screwy finish.
Yeah, that's kind of a good point.
I mean, I still think there's going to be some kind of tomfoolery or shenanigans to get out of this match, like double disqualification, double count out. Brock wins via chicanery. Then I just truly feel like it's going to end up being where this match is going to be the match that takes place at.
Yeah,
Mania.
I can't find what their record is against each other.
Oh, I agree. I think we're all in agreement this is going to end up happening at WrestleMania in some sort of rematch.
Yeah.
If that's true and the record is just 1-0 Bobby, then I think Brock wins this one. I think he does it clean. I think that's totally cool, but I think that it leaves enough room for Bobby to be like, I beat you the first time. You can't beat me twice. So
I have a
do it again.
I have a stupid request. Can that match between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania be in a fight pit?
Oh, God.
Oh, I'd be here for that.
Give me the 2 MMA guys fighting each other in a fight pit at WrestleMania.
Who do you want to see jump off the top of it?
Brock, obviously.
Yes.
Duh. It's obviously
Lord.
Brock. He's going to eat himself off of a tractor. You think I don't want to see him jump off a fight pit? The fuck do you mean?
My God.
Give me Cowboy Brock. Mixed tag match between the woman who punched her ticket to WrestleMania. It is Rhea Ripples and Finn Balor taking on the team of Etch and Beth Phoenix.
I don't see a scenario where Rhea loses this match. I feel like you have to. This is a chance for them to build her up some more going into WrestleMania.
What if
So,
Finn Balor loses the match?
I mean, yeah, that's like totally doable. But I think the goal is, well, first of all, I think the goal is to build Rhea up more in terms of anything else in this match. So I think her like getting a pin over Beth is kind of a possible big deal. But on top of that, I also think that you still like Judgment Day versus Edge in some capacity is going to be the blow off for this feud at WrestleMania. So I don't. I mean, you could get away with it because if the match. Personally, I think the match at WrestleMania is going to be Edge versus Damian Priest. I think that's very full circle, considering this is where we started last year at WrestleMania.
I can't wait to get up to get pizza during that match.
For one, I think it could be a good match. I think that's where they're going with this. So
Punishment
you could get away with
Martinez.
Finn Balor taking the pin and like Damian Priest being like, I got to do this myself, you know? So that's not impossible, but I'm going to take Finn and Rhea winning.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Rhea, and I think Rhea gets the pin. Like, make her look as strong as possible.
That's my thought.
Because like, especially / when she wins the title from Charlotte at Mania, make her look as strong as possible going into that.
I don't know that she can look any stronger going into this match. I mean, I think she's at like peak strength right now. Like, I don't think there's
burying the Glamazon can do part of that, or she fucking pins Edge.
She never pins Edge. She could beat Beth and like, but even if they like, she's not taking the fall no matter what. So I truly don't think it matters. Like, it's either Finn's getting pinned or she's pinning Beth. Like, I don't like, it's one of those things where if her and Beth fight to the back and Edge hits a spear, like, and she's nowhere to be found, like, are we sitting here next week going, man, I don't know if Rhea Ripley can really pull off the match against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania?
No, but I also don't get, why does Edge get that upper hand on?
Because at that point, then what do you do with Edge at WrestleMania? If the match is him versus Damian Priest, you've got to get there somewhere, well, somehow logically.
Well, I personally don't know that it's him versus Damian Priest.
Then what would you do with Edge?
I don't know.
That's a question that you have to ask, because at this point, if you're telling me you don't have Edge on the show, or you're going to throw him in a random multi-man match for a title, like, Edge kind of is like the attraction. Like, he's almost like a guy that you want to have face someone. Like, Damian
He's
Priest,
a potential Mr. WrestleMania.
I'll take him against the returning Matt Riddle to avenge his best friend Randy. I don't know.
I've definitely, honestly, I think I might have
I'm
mentioned
tired
this
of
on
the
the
Judgment
show.
Day taking L's. That's what I'm tired of. And I don't think there's any point. I don't think there's any point in the Judgment Day taking an L in this match.
They haven't taken, like, have they taken an L to Edge since they kicked him out?
Didn't they lose to him at SummerSlam?
But they're gonna lose to him at Mania.
No, I would have Damian Priest beat him at WrestleMania. That's now.
Okay.
Like if the end game in all of this is Damian Priest v Edge on one of the nights of WrestleMania, like, I'm putting Damian Priest over. Like, I'm putting the young guy over, but I have to have some credibility going into that match. Like, if I don't have any credibility going into that match, why is it that I've lost two straight pay-per-views to the Judgment Day? Like, damn, dude, I'm like, do I just need to go take myself out back and Old Yeller myself? Like, I can't beat Finn. I barely could beat Dominic Mysterio in a jail off. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I feel like if the end game here is Damian Priest versus Edge at WrestleMania, like, I feel like they almost have to win this match, because at that point, like, cool, Edge is mad again. Shucks, he lost an I Quit match to Finn Balor already because they fucking gave Beth the concerto. Like, he's already putting the Judgment Day over, like, before this match. Like, I just feel like he's got to get a win back at some point. Like, I understand you want Rhea to go in as strong as possible, but if Rhea's nowhere near the final fall of the match, I don't think it hurts her, is all I'm saying.
I can agree with that.
I'm the guy who normally has like the crazy, like someone's going to win the title thought process. I'm saying you're 6 weeks away from your biggest show of the year. If your end game is to get Damian Priest over, he almost has to win this match. I personally think that Rhea and Finn will win, but because both of you slam dunked just 100% that it's going to happen this way, I'm almost playing devil's advocate because I truly feel that he's already lost an I Quit match to the Judgment Day. He's already put over the Judgment Day in other aspects. He got eliminated by Dominic Mysterio in the Royal Rumble. Like, the Judgment Day has been one up on him basically the entire time since they kicked him out. So, like, a win on this show leading to Damian Priest winning against him, I feel it isn't like detrimental to Rhea winning the title at WrestleMania.
I mean, since he's been kicked out, he beat Damian Priest on Raw. Him and Ray defeated Priest and Balor at Clash at the Castle. He defeated Dominic Mysterio on an episode of Raw. Then he lost the I Quit match, and then the elimination at the Rumble. So, I mean, I want something fucking different.
In reality, it's 2-2 because I don't count the Dominic Mysterio match. Super Green McGee, who has went through an entire character change since that match, like it's 2-2. Like, and Damian Priest can get his revenge, but if he loses, I get it. I
want to see something different from Edge as well. I'm tired of him versus the Judgment Day, and I get you blow things off at Mania, but good Christ, find something different for me. Let the Judgment Day just fucking.
They should have just never have done this match. The blow off should have just been at WrestleMania, and we should have never have had the mixed tag match.
Like, yeah, that's why I think that the mixed tag match, the point of it is to get Rhea over more.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
I just don't like, but at this point, I don't think her getting over and Beth, like, I don't think either one of those things necessarily matters. Like, she's super over already, so it's not anything. And Beth Phoenix doesn't need to get a win because she's Beth Phoenix. Like, it is what it is to me. Like, I just don't necessarily know that there's anything good that comes out of this.
And I don't.
There's nothing good. There's nothing good that comes out of having a pay-per-view between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. So it's like they just kind of. A lot of this pay-per-view has always traditionally been going through the motions. Like, nothing on this pay-per-view couldn't have been done on an episode of Raw or SmackDown. It's just that we have a pay-per-view that we have to sell. So
I truly believe that looking at this like show, like, you can't do the main event on an episode of SmackDown. You can't do the world title match on an episode of SmackDown like that. Like, this show is built for that match. Like, the rest of this is going through the motions. Like, we'll get there, but I don't feel like you could have done Sammy versus Roman on an episode.
Well, right. But they also work the story because there's this pay-per-view. If you don't have this pay-per-view, then you're telling the story in a different way.
Right.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I'm playing the other side of the fence.
Right.
This match couldn't.
So they could have put a different, but the point is, then they could have put a different match. In this mixed tag spot.
Yes, exactly. They could have done Rhea Ripley beating Beth Phoenix, and you could have had Edge versus Damian Priest or Finn Balor at WrestleMania. Like, the guys didn't have to be involved in this match. I mean, the whole I Quit match, the basis of the story was Rhea gave Beth the concerto after Edge quit. Why wouldn't we just have Beth Phoenix lose to Rhea Ripley? That accomplishes everything without having to have Edge involved against the Judgment Day again. That's all I'm saying. Like you could have just Edge on the outside, Damian and Dominic and them on the outside, and then Rey Mysterio could come out, which could lead to Edge and Rey Mysterio versus Damian Priest and Finn Balor or Dominic Mysterio or whomever. Like, there's just other things that you could have done. Like, I just feel like at this point, putting this match on this show, knowing that you have Rhea Ripley in the women's title match at WrestleMania, it's just like, meh. It's just, we could have done something else with it. Like, it is what it is. All right. Men's Elimination Chamber for the United States title. It is the Theory of Relativity taking on Seth Franklin Rollins, Montez Ford, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano. Jimothy.
I think it's going to be Theory retaining. They've been sprinkling John Cena hints for far too long for this to not be Theory versus Cena at Mania for the title.
Joseph?
Yeah, I think Jim hit the nail on the head with that one. I can't see any of those other guys being the guy that wins the belt either, because like I think it's really cool that they have Montez Ford and Bronson Reed and Johnny Gargano and some like newer faces into that IC title scene. I like that they're using this as a launching pad for
Wrong
that.
belt.
U.S. title, fine.
Thank you.
But I like that they're using this as a launching pad to get some new people into that title scene, because it's been a great title scene for a while, but it's gotten a little stale with the names that have been in it. So it's kind of cool to see like Montez Ford and Damian Priest and, Johnny Gargano and stuff like that. But that said, I think the only person who probably has a realistic shot of winning it is Rollins, and he seems to be heading towards a match with Logan Paul at Mania, so he doesn't need the U.S. title. So, yeah, Theory's probably the guy that's winning this one.
You all truly believe that he's taking on Cena at WrestleMania?
I don't know. I'm not convinced of that, but I still think that he wins this either way.
If he fights Cena, then he doesn't win the title. If he loses the title and he's fighting Cena at WrestleMania.
But see, Cena has a pretty big history with the U.S. title, so.
Sure. But if you want Austin Theory to beat John Cena at WrestleMania,
I don't think he would ever beat John Cena at WrestleMania.
Why wouldn't he?
Even if they wrestle, I don't think he'd win.
Why wouldn't he?
Because John Cena is John Cena.
But you have an opportunity to build your next great heel. He just last year had a great match with Pat McAfee.
Yeah,
I would give him the win over Cena, because if he loses to Cena, you really want John Cena to be the United States champion in the year 2023?
I mean, I wouldn't hate it for a short run, but also too, I don't think you have to win when you're a heel to get over. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he needs to win to get over in that situation.
I also don't think John Cena should be a champion in 2023. I feel like you're going to.
That's valid, but I'm just saying, like, if it happens for a month, I don't think it's the end of the world either.
But I think that's the problem. Like, when does Cena lose the title?
In a month at Backlash. Or in a week at SmackDown. I mean, I don't really care.
Do they have a Saudi show coming up after Mania?
I would rather just have Theory lose it in the chamber to Gargano, to Priest, to those are really the only two that I think really make any kind of sense. And then you move Theory into the Cena, the next big young thing versus, a guy who was in that same thing with ruthless aggression and coming out, showing out his six-pack and smacking Kurt Angle in the face. Like, I feel like this is a perfect chapter to close the book for John Cena. If this is truly like one of the final times we see Cena in a wrestling ring, like putting over a guy who's 24 that's going to be a mainstay in your company moving forward, like, I don't think it gets much bigger than that for Austin Theory. Like, I get it. He had the McMahon moment last year with McAfee and Austin and all that. And then the next year he beats John Cena at WrestleMania in LA. Like, he's a fucking star coming out of that.
And that's why I have him retaining in the chamber and retaining over John Cena.
I just don't think that match needs a title belt.
Okay. I think it makes Theory even bigger if it has the title attached to it.
But now you're putting Theory in a spot where who do you ever have take the title off of him? Him losing it in a multi-man match like this where something fluky occurs and he could bitch about it and Cena comes out and that starts their fucking rivalry leading into the WrestleMania match. then I think catapults him into he could take on a Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. He could take on a Cody Rhodes at Survivor Series, and it actually be like, oh shit, Austin Theory is a believable heel that could beat Cody Rhodes. Like, I just feel like you have a launching pad, and it, like, if he beats Cena and retains the title at WrestleMania, it's like, you really got anybody built up that kind of makes sense to take the US title off of him? Like, I get it, it's going to give rub to whoever eventually beats him in a one-on-one match, but I mean, he kind of just beat like the biggest star that you've had since The Rock. It's one of those things where it's like, I feel like from a standpoint of the way that you're doing things with the roster and things like that, like, I just truly think that there's a better opportunity here just to get the belt off of him, move to the Cena stuff, have him beat Cena, and make him a viable contender coming out of Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm with Jim. I think it overall just looks better if he's still the champion.
I'll
I
take Gargano because somebody's got to do something different on this show. Fuck it.
I mean, do you have? Well,
What?
I mean, I don't know that. To me, if a result makes sense, like I don't know that it has to be a different answer just to be a different answer. But that's just me.
I mean, I was taking Gargano before you both took Theory, regardless, because I think Gargano makes sense in and I think he could have a great match at WrestleMania, and I think that's going to be a multi-man match, probably a ladder match, and Johnny Gargano in a ladder match is pretty fucking balls.
I mean, for what it's worth, Johnny Gargano would have been my pick if it wasn't for my thought that he's going to get John Cena and to successfully defend the title against him at Mania.
Then let me ask you this question, and then we'll transition to the next match. Your world happens. Who takes the title off of him after?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think that far forward, if I'm being 100% honest with it. I've just done 4.5 months of Huddle Up podcast and this show and 3CT since fucking the middle of August. So thinking 4 more months out in a wrestling world is something that isn't even on my goddamn mind. I'll be 100% honest about it. That's up to WWE to figure out. Make it fucking Kevin Owens. Make Bronson Reed a thing. Fucking, I don't know. Fucking figure it out. But
okay, women's elimination chamber match.
Standing over John Cena with the U.S. title makes him that much bigger of a star than just standing over John Cena, and it makes the U.S. title more important.
Are we going to care about the U.S. title once Cody wins the world titles at the same show?
Well, what if he retains the U.S. title on Saturday and Cody wins on Sunday?
I'm just saying, I think that coming out of WrestleMania, people remember the last 2 matches. So if that's not if that's not the main event, like people are like, oh man, night 1 was main evented by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens winning the tag titles, and night 2's Cody Rhodes winning both world titles. I don't think people are going to be like, man, that U.S. title that Austin Theory retained. I think that's like the 3rd or 4th most important thing on people's minds at that point.
Well, yeah, but there's no scenario where it's going to be the most important thing. Like Cody is going to be the most important thing no matter what.
That's why I don't. So I think
it's okay to be I think it's okay to be the 3rd or 4th most important thing. That like out of a weekend, out of 6 hours worth of wrestling, where there's like 18 matches, being the 4th most memorable thing is a pretty big accomplishment, honestly.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just telling you, if you're the 4th most important thing with the title, being the 4th most important thing without the title doesn't mean it. Like it's the same. Like I don't like him beating Cena with or without the title. I think it's going to be an important moment if it's
but here's the difference though. For the U.S. title, being part of the 4th biggest moment makes the U.S. title look better than it being part of the 16th biggest moment in a throwaway match for the U.S. title.
So every other year that we've had the U.S. title match, then
kinda, yeah. Actually, okay, cool. I'd agree with that.
So that title's just junk as it is. So.
but if this is their attempt at making it more important, I think that's a great thing. Personally,
just truly feel like it being like more important would be them like doing something more with the title, like leading into this. Like Theory's feuds leading into this were Bobby Lashley. Like
Right, but
that
we are
feud sucked.
But we're at the point that we're at now. Like, there's no going back for the last 6 months and making what they do with the U.S. title better. Like, we are where we are. So now it's about getting the most you can get out of it, which I think, like Jim said, like, you get a big moment for the title. It makes the title look good to be in that moment.
But Jim's point was
that moment a million times.
But Jim's point hasn't been about the U.S. title. It's been about Austin Theory with the title. The title is an accessory. It's Austin Theory.
He definitely said at one point it was about making the title look better too.
Austin Theory with the title standing over John Cena looks better than Austin Theory standing over John Cena was the quote, correct?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Austin
for the sake of the title also. But he did say that. Like Jim like back me up here.
What did you say, Joe?
You did say at one point that sorry, just got a message from my boss. You did say at one point that it makes the title look better to be in that moment.
Yeah, I think both parts make each other look better in the moment with Cena. The title makes Theory beating Cena look better, and Theory beating Cena with the title makes the title better.
Right. So what's the next match?
I mean, you guys can finish it. I mean, it's the women's chamber match.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me read that off for you. It's Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, Raquel, Natty.
I don't really understand what has fucking happened in the last hour and a half.
So who's in this match?
I mean, it was the fact that you guys made a point and I didn't even get a counterpoint. It was, what's the next match? So it's Asuka versus Liv versus Nikki versus Raquel versus Natty versus Carmella for the number one contender spot for the Raw Women's title, where they lose to Bianca Belair again.
I think it's going to be Asuka, but it's because I kind of don't know who else. I don't know what other match you want to go to WrestleMania with for Bianca. You know, I mean, because at this point you're not doing Becky or Bayley. You've worked them out of the equation. So I don't know. I think Asuka's probably the biggest star in that match. The only other person I can see a case for is maybe Raquel.
Yeah, I think it's Asuka. I think the only person, if the decision is to move the title off of Bianca, which may or may not happen, and at this point, I don't know what answer is going to make somebody mad. So, either way, I think it's just going to. I think it's going to be Asuka, because if they are going to move the title, it makes the most sense, to put it on the new Asuka.
They've already fucked Asuka up once. They might as well do it again, right?
Sure.
I mean, I don't know how it's anyone but her, but, you know, I digress, because, you know, you guys were sitting here talking about Natty Chamber and almost sending me into a fucking coronary heart attack with Ronda Rousey talk on your show earlier tonight.
Tim, by the way. It wasn't you guys. That was Tim.
Oh my God. Could you imagine if that actually happened?
Don't want to. Why would you say that, Joe?
I know what would happen next week.
You guys do that after the last
you guys
hour,
would be doing this show by yourself.
I mean, come on. Why would you do that, Joe?
Because I'll tell you exactly what will happen if that's the case. You guys will be running the Take 3 show next week, because I won't fucking be here.
Oh, there will just not be a Take 3 next week.
There won't be a Take 3 again until WrestleMania if she walks into that fucking.
Fine by me. I can get to bed a whole fucking hell of a lot sooner.
You know, you want to put that fucking voodoo in the fucking world. Let's really do it here. She walks in that chamber, we will never have another show ever again. It's been real, y'all. See y'all never again.
I never really thought about the option of Ronda as Bianca's challenger at Mania.
God damn it, Joe.
I'll sell my ticket. You can go with Sven down the street if she's the fucking main event for the Raw Women's title. Don't give a fuck. I do not want to see Ronda Rousey in another WrestleMania match ever. I'm good.
I mean, seriously, Joe, you didn't have to do that. Okay? You just didn't have to do that.
Like, I want to throw this cup so bad, but it's like, what the fuck? I have to clean it up afterwards.
He's so proud of himself.
Yeah, shocking. Title match, Universal Heavyweight Galactic Intergalactic Spaceship Trophy. Roman Reigns, the champion, Sami Zayn, the hometown boy. We talked about it a little bit. I'll let you guys talk, and then I'll try to somehow work up some magic that I can sound stupid afterwards.
Now we're convinced that Ronda Rousey won't somehow win this match.
Jesus Christ, Joe.
I mean, if I leave the studio, I am not coming back. Y'all can finish this bitch without me. So if that's what you're going for, keep talking Ronda Rousey. Because
We'll literally just hit stop. Like, I'll literally just hit stop. It's literally that simple if you leave. Look, I know everybody wants this magical story of Sami Zayn to pay off in either a win here or something screwy happens and he gets added the match at Mania and he wins the titles at Mania, or they're going to somehow split the titles. None of those things are happening. None of them. They're not happening. Roman is going to toy with Sami Zayn and end up half fucking murdering him in that ring on Saturday. Straight up. Like, it is, because here's the deal. You want to make sure that when Cody Rhodes becomes the new champion, that it gets cheered. You do that, one, by making sure that there's still some sort of payoff with Sami Zayn, and there will be tag championship with Kevin Owens. But you also want to make sure that hates Roman. How do you make sure everyone hates Roman? By burying the thing that everybody wants and destroying the thing that everybody wants. That's what happens on Saturday in front of his family and friends and country. Like, there's part of me that thinks, like, if done correctly, this may be like the first time you see people like throwing trash at the fucking wrestling ring that we've seen in a long time. Like, and I kind of want that to happen.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, make him the most fucking evil thing in wrestling by just crushing Sammy and the wrestling world's hopes and dreams. It's Roman. There's no way that this 900 plus day run ends on a fucking random Saturday in February in Montreal, Canada. Sorry. Like, maybe I'm wrong about the parts where Sammy doesn't end up in the main event or whatever at Mania, but I know for a fact that there's no way it happens this Saturday.
Yeah, I would say I logically agree with you, Jim. I think that the promo that Cody and Sammy had on Raw this week, it did a hell of a job. It was convincing. It sold me. It sold me on the potential for Sami Zayn actually winning. And that's what it was meant to do. That's what this promo on this last show before the big pay-per-view, that was what that was meant to do. So job well done. Bravo. They sold me. They hooked me in. I'm going to watch that match. I'm going to try to avoid spoilers or try to see if I can watch it live because I will be at work. But, like, that'll be right around when we're, like, closing when that match is on. So I might actually get to see at least that match. I'm going to watch that match, and I feel like there's going to be, if they pull it off right, there's going to be moments where it's like, holy shit, Sammy's about to win. You know, like, I feel like they could actually tell that story. And truth be told, there's a part of me that, like, played out devil's advocate in my head and was kind of like, well, like Sammy versus Cody could be a hell of a fucking match at WrestleMania. And I don't know, like, there were all those rumors for all those months that The Rock was going to come in and fight Roman, and that didn't need to be for the title. And then that kind of all disappeared, and Rock was like, nah, I'm not actually doing that. And, you know, the Rumble came and passed. Everyone was expecting that. What if that's still on the docket? You know, like, what if they needed it to cool down and play it up and everything, and that's still a potential Mania match for one of the two nights? And then you've got an opening for the title match, and maybe you go with Cody versus Sammy, because you know you're going to get a quality in-ring match out of that. You're going to get a match that like can steal the show out of those two, and we all know Cody's going to win in the end. So I don't know that it matters who he beats. Now, I mean, there's an argument that it matters because getting to beat the guy that's been champion for 900 days looks a hell of a lot better than beating the guy who beat him a month ago. But I think there's potential there. That's all I'm saying. But I mean, I do think Roman's gonna win, obviously. That was my TED talk. I'm done.
Just trying to figure out how Cody beating Sami Zayn is good. So that's all why I'm quiet, because I'm literally trying to figure out to compute how Cody Rhodes winning the title from anyone, because you know he's going to win it, after watching Sami Zayn beat Roman Reigns is good, because I don't think it is. Like, I don't think there's a shot in hell that you should have your two biggest faces in the same ring with each other as the main event of a 2-night WrestleMania. Because here's the thing. We've been in those crowds enough. There's a 0.0% chance that if your main event is Cody Rhodes versus Sami Zayn, that Cody Rhodes is going to get cheered when he wins the belts. It ain't going to happen. There will be some cheers, but there will be a lot of boos, because you've built this guy like Kofi Mania that you're going to rip the fucking blanket out from underneath us and be like, you gave us this for a month, you fucking assholes. Like, no, like, Sami Zayn being the one to take the titles off of Roman Reigns, and then, like, if Sami loses the titles, like, Cody better turn heel the next night.
Well, I think he would in that scenario.
Like, he would have to, because
Cody
there's no
will
way he's
eventually
getting
be
cheered.
a heel anyway.
Sure, but there's 0.0% chance that adrenaline in my soul hits after beating Sami Zayn and he gets cheered. The 80,000 that are going to be in there, you might get 20% that cheer for him, but there will be more boos the fact that Sami isn't walking out with the world titles. I said it when we talked about it last week's show. Smash him, stack him, destroy him, hit him over the head with a club. I don't care. Roman Reigns has to win, and has to win dominantly. I know on 3CT I said Sami via disqualification, because if it is, it's Jay turning on him leading to the tag match. It's not because you're then going to put Sami in the fucking title match and make it a triple threat. That's not happening. If he wins by DQ,
if it's a DQ, there's a melee after the match. Kevin Owens comes to save him. So you've clearly presented it's KO and Sami versus the Usos.
Correct. That's why I picked Sami via disqualification. I don't think it's Sami via DQ and then getting added to the match on Friday night's episode of SmackDown. Because here's the thing. There's nothing good. There's nothing good.
Going to be in Montreal. Because
Jay might be,
but I doubt it.
Why wouldn't you bring him? I mean, literally, he should be the one that gets Roman disqualified, because that should be when he shoots his shot and takes out Sami.
That's fair.
Because he's the only one that hasn't laid a hand on him, is now acting like he wants to be his friend backstage on SmackDown. You know, I acknowledge you. Well, you can acknowledge me all you want, but I'm not the one you need to acknowledge as the tribal chief. He cost Sami the titles. It now means more that it's Sami and Kevin versus Jimmy and Jay.
Fair.
I'm just saying, Jimmy, there's a 0.0% chance Jimmy's there because of the DUIs.
Yeah.
But Jay has always been the pivotal piece of this story since Royal Rumble. Cash in on the chip now. Roman's kicking his ass. Roman's beating the absolute hell out of him. Roman's toying with him. He's getting ready to fucking set him up for a spear and then choke him out. Sammy fluke move, hits the haluva kick. Jey Uso slides in the ring and super kicks the soul straight out of Sami Zayn's chest. Roman looks up, sees it. Solo sees it. Okay, Jay's in. They beat the hell out of Sammy. Out comes Kevin. You then close with Kevin Owens holding his fallen comrade as the bloodline retreats and thinks about their next step. And that gets you to Sammy and Kevin versus the Usos in the main event of night 1 of WrestleMania. And you main event with the 2 biggest bloodline storylines that you've been building to for the last 7 months.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with all of that.
But I don't think that there's a way that Sammy walks out of Montreal with the titles. He may get a win a la Seth Rollins at Royal Rumble last year. He got a win, but it was because Roman snapped and was like, fuck you for wearing this Shield gear. Like, I don't know who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
Like, that's another option. Roman could just snap and just beat the ever-loving hell out of him. And the ref just has to call for a disqualification. Like, that's also an option. But I just don't think that there's a way that Sami Zayn walks out of Montreal. Like, there are chances that he, like, oh, he was so close. He had him for a roll-up. If the ref was looking, it would have been a 3 count. He hit the haluva kick, stuff like that. He needs to be picked up by Kevin Owens, and the 2 of them need to be staring at the Usos as the credits end.
No, I agree completely.
That's the end for Elimination Chamber for me. Like that's
Yeah.
the final credit. That's the Thanos snap of the finger. Like that's how Elimination Chamber ends. Like, okay,
yeah,
we now know that it's Kevin and Sammy versus the Usos. And then you go, okay, well, where are you going to put that match?
I agree.
It should be the main event of night 1. But that's me. I know there'll be people saying that it should be the women's match, but I digress. We'll talk about that more probably next week when we have more clarity, because I think that's my topic for next week is going to be finish the WrestleMania cards. So now that we have no more big shows before WrestleMania. So you all have homework. Anything else on Elimination Chamber before we move to Wrestlers of the Week?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm all set. I'm ready to not know who to name for Wrestlers of the Week.
Ship it. Let's go. All right, Wrestlers of the Week. Again, no Ernest, so it'll just be the 6 nominees from the 3 of us. Who went first last week? I don't even fucking remember.
Don't know.
I want to say it was Joseph went first. So, Jim, go.
Give me the new NWA Women's World Tag Team Champions, the Renegade Twins.
Sweet. 2 more. Another tag team that I can put ahead of the Ass Boys. Fuck those guys. They did nothing with that, by the way. But they cut like a real shit promo. Like, not a goddamn thing.
I'm shocked.
How do you do less than what you did when they won the titles?
Because Tony Khan doesn't actually know how to book.
Yeah, hot garbage. Give me the still NXT North American champion. Give me Wesley.
Oh, did he defend it again?
Yeah, he defeated Jeep Wagoneer.
I love that for him.
Everybody's favorite Jeep.
I literally have no idea of anything that happened in wrestling this week.
Take Bianca Belair.
Sure, let's go with it.
Awesome. Jim?
Give me a guy who picked up a win on Dynamite last night, but also picked up an AEW contract. And also I did see earlier the close family friends that have been keeping updates on the Briscoe family. One of the girls is I guess the one that was still in the hospital is coming home, has feeling in her legs. She does need some assistance walking. But yeah, the video that was updated, like they actually showed like a x-ray of her spine from the night of the accident. And it is unbelievable that she has any feeling in her legs at all. But ultimately, well, all of that included, Mark Briscoe is my second this week.
I love that.
I have to figure out what the fuck I'm taking for my second because there was a whole bunch of nothing that happened this week on wrestling.
Yeah, for real.
You know what? Give me the girl who won the old main event on Tony Khan Presents Wrestling last night. Give me a Ruby Soho. Go take the Usos.
Yeah.
So not Ronda Rousey?
Wow, you're trying.
You know what, Joe? I feel like we were finishing really, really on a good spot.
You're really trying to make this the last show we ever do, aren't you?
You really fucking went and you had to do that, huh?
Really trying to make this the last.
Give me the Usos. It's fine.
I mean, if you really want to take Ronda Rousey that bad, that's fine. Just know that she'll never get a vote. Like I'll just completely forget
the Usos.
Try to leave them for you just so that there was an easy selection because they retain their titles. Just trying to make things easy for myself and Jim here towards the end of the show. Can we talk about this real quick before we wrap this up? NWA had their Nuff Said show where the Renegade Twins won the tag titles. Does anyone want to guess what the main event ranking? The main event was Tyrus versus Matt Cardona. I'm on Cage Match looking at the results. There are 20 votes, 1 through 10. Does anybody want to guess what the match rating is based off of 20 votes?
It better be under fucking 2.
Joseph, you want to take a guess?
Worse than the shit my dog's about to take when I take him outside.
1.95.
No.
That seems generous.
Yeah, it actually does feel almost.
And they want to keep the title on Tyrus for some reason.
It's fucking embarrassing. It's just fucking embarrassing. It really is.
The highest rated.
I saw a picture
match
on this that, and it literally, it's a joke.
The highest.
Tyrus looks like if I would put on a Borat mankini. Like it's fucking ridiculous.
Wow, wee woo. The highest rated match on this entire show. Yeah. The highest rated match on this entire show. Camille versus Angelina Love in a 12-minute no disqualification match.
Oh my goodness.
Good lord.
7 was the ranking. So that actually doesn't. I mean, it could be the 2.53 that Austin Alex Riley got for fucking splatting on the fucking entranceway. You're welcome for that, by the way.
The fact that Alex Riley walked away from that should give it an extra bonus point. But look, man, I saw Angelina Love in an indie show recently. If your best match in 2023 was a match with Angelina Love in it, you have done you have screwed up. And that's not to be disrespectful to her or Camille, but like that's not your show stealer. I'm sorry, it's not.
The closest to it was Kerry Morton versus Alex Taylor. I don't know who the fuck Alex Taylor is. It got a 6.67 on 11 votes. So it might end up being more like higher on the list towards the end whenever the final votes get calculated. But yeah, I agree with Jim. If that's your number one match, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Jim, want to hit the plugs and.
Hey, I got nothing to plug, and I want to go walk my dog. So I'll talk to you, crazy cats, later.
All right, bye, Joe. Yeah, I mean, it's real simple for me. Just go to @BigJimSports on Twitter. Hit the link tree. You'll find 3CT, Huddle Up Podcast, and Discussions with a Nobody. They're all there. They're all connected right on my Twitter. Yeah, full steam ahead. Huddle Up's going into the off-season mode. 3 prime season right now.
I was part of the final live Huddle Up this
You
past
were.
week.
You were.
If you guys want to go listen to that, that's up in the podcast feed. You can follow the show at Twitter at take the number 3 wrestling, always the number, never the word. You can follow me on Twitter at They Call Me Burn. You can listen to us talk about all things hockey on the 5 for Fighting podcast. New podcast just dropped while we were recording this one, or just before we started hitting that play button. We talk about some things, including the unfortunate passing of Mr. Alexander Ovechkin's father, Mikhail. So, thoughts and prayers to the Ovechkin family, obviously, from 2 Caps fans. You can listen to me talk about South Florida baseball, sunny days and double plays, a Palm Beach baseball podcast. New one of those going up tomorrow or on Saturday, depending on how crazy work is tomorrow. And then also from Adam Lee to Zombie, a WWE ECW watch along that I do with Joe, which I might not do if he keeps mentioning fucking Ronda Rousey on this show. I mean, I'm just saying, I hope you listen to this part, Joe. Other than that, Ernest will be back hopefully sooner rather than later. We'll see. We'll hold that seat warm for him whenever he finally gets his neck realigned or something, whatever. Until next week, enjoy Elimination Chamber, enjoy Battle in the Silicon Valley. And as always, we love you guys, and we'll see you next week right here on the Take 3 Wrestling podcast, unless Ronda Rousey somehow ends up in the chamber. And then thanks for listening for the last 3 years. It's been great, guys.